Hello, it's Carrie from Skeriosities. Today I'm going to show you how to reroot a Monster High doll. The first thing that you'll need is a pair of scissors, some different sizes of needle nose pliers, and a hair rooting tool. The hair rooting tool that I'm about to show I purchased off of Etsy. I've also heard that you can make your own out of an X-Acto knife. I think there's some tutorials out there, but I haven't tried it myself. You can also purchase the needles for your rooting tool on Etsy, but I make my own by cutting the eye of the needle at an angle and also cutting off the tip for safety. Be sure to choose the size of needle that works best with the fiber that you're using, but not too big for the holes that you're rooting into. If the needle is too large, it can connect multiple holes and cause a tear in the scalp of the doll. Next, you'll choose the fiber that you want to use. I'll show you a couple of my favorites. This first one is a cotton yarn that is used for baby blankets. This particular brand is Rembrandt, but I've purchased other brands as well. This one works really nice though. This is the yarn that I use to make my Afro puff dolls, and here I'm showing you an example of one of the dolls that I made with this type of yarn. Another one of my favorite fibers to use is alpaca yarn. This brand is Yarn Bee, and it's the absolute best. It is super soft, and when it's brushed, it looks like real hair. So to get started, I'm going to show you the spectra that I'm working on, and here you'll see the hair is cut super short, as very short as I could possibly get it. Once the hair is cut as short as you can possibly get it, you will take a pair of the needle nose pliers and insert it in the neck and start pulling out the hair. I've seen some other techniques where acetone is poured into the head to dissolve the glue, or the inside of the head is scraped with a clay carving tool or a screwdriver before you pull the hair out. And I've tried both of these techniques and they just don't seem to work any better for me, but they may work better for others, so it may be worth a try. This part of pulling out the hair can be a really tedious process, and depending on how much glue is in the scalp, I actually prefer there to be a lot of glue, because when that's the case, you can pull out like one big hunk at a time. As you can see with this Spectre doll, that's not the case, and this is going to be a long process of pulling out a couple of hairs at a time. I should also mention that although I try to be as careful as possible that I don't damage the whole of the neck when I'm inserting the pliers and roughly pulling out the hair, I've been really rough with a lot of them, and there's been no damage and no stretching out of the neck, and no problem when I put the head back on the doll that it's loose. The vinyl can really take a lot of abuse, but still be careful. So once you've managed to pull out all of the hairs, you will have a totally sticky, yucky mess. So I recommend using an adhesive remover. They have them from, I think, duct tape and Glue Be Gone, and they totally work miracles in removing all that stickiness. So I think this is, I'm showing the duct tape brand adhesive remover. It works really well. So this is a Kiyomi Honnerly doll that I'll be working on. Once the hair is removed, you can also use acetone to remove the paint, and it'll look something like this. For the actual rooting part of the tutorial, I'm going to use a Goya Yelps that I'm already in progress with. So here you can see that, and I've rooted the hair in a circular pattern around the scalp and worked my way up to the top of the scalp. And I do this because it becomes easier to hold onto the hair while I'm rooting. So you'll see that in a second. So the next step, I'm not going to recommend that you do it this way because it's really kind of silly and kind of dangerous, and it's just ridiculous. But I use my cell phone for this process. It just happened to be that my phone was the perfect length and just happened to be right there for me to use. But sooner or later, I'll cut a piece of cardboard out instead of this phone, which would be much safer. So anyway, what I'm doing here is I'm taking the yarn and I'm wrapping it around the phone, which I'll do several times until I build up a good bit of yarn. For the sake of this video, I'll just do it a few times. And so then I make a cut here, dangerously, as you can see. And then once I take it off the phone, it'll kind of be folded in half, and I'll cut them all again, and you'll see that it's the perfect length. So next I'll take a piece of yarn, which you can see is pretty thick, and I'm going to separate it to better fit the holes in the scalp, and it will also make the hair not be so incredibly thick and look more realistic. Then I will take a piece of yarn and wrap it around my finger and hold it there so I can scoop it up with the needle. Once I have the hair or the yarn securely on the needle, I will hold it tightly and find the hole that I want to root and push the needle in there. If after you've rooted the piece of hair, you see some pieces of hair are still sticking out from the shorter end, then you can use the needle to push them in further, which is what I'm doing here. And then after I fix that, I'll do this a couple of more times. It seems like a tedious process, but the more you do it, the faster you're going to get. And I find it relaxing, personally, to do this. And it's well worth the effort. In a little bit, I'll show how, if you're going to make a part in the hair, or you're going to style it into pigtails, you'll want to fill in some of that space down the part, because you'll see that there's some empty spots and it'll look kind of weird if you have parted it into pigtails. So you can actually fill those spots in with by rooting. Even if there's not a hole there, I still do that. So this is how you reroot a doll. I hope the information was helpful, and if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss out on any future videos. Also look for us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and all the other social media sites for our recent dolls, progress, and other fun stuff. So thank you for watching.